Hello everybody, welcome back out of the case. This is Skyflight44, aka Z24, and today I'm going to be continuing to play Ratchet and Clank Size Matters. Now, before I continue what I was talking about last time about me complaining about the story, I'm just gonna say that that ship design doesn't look all that bad, but the coloring scheme absolutely sucks. Really, that color scheme, the white, the red, and that yellow, that just bothers the hell out of me. Oh, I really wish in this game you could have got different, you could change the color of your ship, like you could in Going Commando and, Up Your Arsenal. But, oh well. Now, I'm gonna go back to me talking about the story. Before I talk about more about the game itself, let's talk about the story. Now, the big thing about this game is Technomites. Technomites, from what we know, it's basically like a little fairy tale that, you know, your parents would tell you. You know, to get you to do things, to get you to, you know, to explain things you don't really want to explain, like, you know, something like the stork, you know, bullshit like that. But, why I hate that, especially in the context of a, you know, a universe like, you know, Ratchet and Clank, is, well, omniverse, I should say, but, oh, cutscene.
Those cameras just keep coming. What should we do?
Just ignore them. They are probably an automatic security system.
All right, let's keep moving. They blow up real good, though.
Well, let me continue. The fairy tale thing, it's basically parents tell their children about technomites to explain how technology works. All technology works because of technomites. Guess what? Spoilers! Technomites are real! Technomites are part of what looks to be one galaxy. Nowhere else. Yet there are at least 3 galaxies that we go to. And the Ratchet and Clank series. Why the hell? How could the Technomites be the cause of, you know, like, all technology, why all technology works, when they live on a couple of planets out of 3 galaxies?
Whoa, hang on there. Now be careful with that. Whew, that was a close one. Now, let me have that water pistol, little fella.
It works! I finally perfected my Sproutomatic!
Sproutomatic, you say? How does it work?
By shooting mimic plants, you can make them follow you. Then, by using it to water electrosoil, the plant will hop in and transform itself into a platform, a creature, whatever you need.
Did you hear that, Ratchet? That would come in very handy.
Yeah, great.
Since you helped with the final test, I will give you this prototype to try for yourselves. Wow!
Oh, wow. I hate this. Actually, to be honest, I don't really like that story, you know, that fairy tale. It's kind of plausible, and, you know, as the little people that make things work story that was kind of there in The Legend of Zelda Minish Cap as well. The Minish were the people that, you know, put all the rupees in the grass and all that shit, I believe. Haven't played that game in a long ass time, so I really don't know. But from what I recollect, that was the deal. Now, and fantasy, that works fine, because, you know, magic and all. But You could say something about this. You could possibly make it work in a sci-fi universe, in space. But to say that to actually have a little myth that technomites, or a little tale that technomites are the reason why technology works, and then have technomites be real, and have this in a game series where there's multiple galaxies that you go through, and there's still a myth. There's absolutely no way anybody's really known about them, can prove them, all that shit. That's stupid. Just completely idiotic. That type of story just can't work with this actual with this just series. It just can't work. And that's the main reason why I don't like this game. The characters, the personalities aren't all that great. The actual other characters don't really care. Really, really don't care. The story just ridiculous, stupid. Let me talk about the game a little bit. Now, one of the things I actually don't like about this game, another thing I don't like about this game, is we're going to be seeing it later on, quite a bit later on, but this game tends to love filling the gameplay time with filler, with added challenges, instead of actually filling it with levels. If they took out all the challenges, they probably could have added another level into the game, maybe 2 levels. And while the gameplay time probably would have been cut down, a bit, it probably would have been more replayable. I really don't find this game to be replayable all too much, just because the Ratchet levels really are like, if you do everything, are like maybe 60% of the actual game. If you add in the challenges, you add in all the other stuff like the skyboarding, the giant Clank space segments, the Clank segments, the other Clank segments that happen in the Ratchet levels. It just, that shit just gets really, really bad. That if you do everything, you're not really going to be playing as Ratchet, the main gameplay, for all that long. And in like a 3-hour game, you're not really going to be... well, it's going to be like you playing with Ratchet like 3 hours, like 2 hours, you're doing everything else. And that kind of sucks, but oh well. Now, well, we're actually going to... They're a helmet, body armor, the, like the arms and the just boots they actually get. But we don't have a full set yet.
Yeah, great. It's locked. Well, looks like we'll never find out what that weird doohickey is. Come on, let's go.
I am able to squeeze through this crevice. Wait here, and I will unlock it from the inside.
All right, just don't take all day.
Oh well. Before I talk about anything, I really should talk about the actual game, what we're doing. This is actually a pretty decent Clank segment. The worst Clank segments of the entire series, generally, I'm gonna always say, is the original Ratchet and Clanks. Those ones were kind of boring, and just not all that much fun. In this game, though, they're bogged down a little bit, but they're not all that bad. Still not going to be able to beat Going Commandos, which were really good, and, just a crack in times. Clank segments are actually really good, as in
To defeat
on
enemies,
par
tell
with the Ratchet segments, which is kind of interesting. And, you know, good thing it is, because, well, you're playing as Clank, like, a third to, you know, 40% of the time. But, the Clank segments in this one aren't bad. There are a lot of little like, added segments, added things Clank can do that don't really have the... I shouldn't really say puzzle elements, but the, you know, the Gadgebot, you know, Gadgebot management really isn't such a big thing in this one. That's kind of what sucks. You do a lot of shit like this with Clank. You go and use them, go and put this like tosser bot thing, which you actually have to toss Gadgebots with. There's a turret one, which actually, oh, the turret part later on is just boring and it takes way too long. And those actually reappear in Ratchet segments, or it might just only appear in Ratchet segments, but it bothers the hell out of me. Oh shit, they're killing my Gadgebots. And I'm almost about to die. Oh well. But these aren't bad. It's... how should I say this? The Ratchet and Clank 1 Clank segments were kinda boring. And, well, and, Orzon, that levels horrible Clank segments, that took forever. It was boring, it took forever, and it could be frustrating. It really could be frustrating. This game, it's really just boring. We really don't have any puzzles. We really don't have to manage these guys too much either. It's just boring. But oh well. It's nothing that's too bad. If the game just stopped here and had, you know, an extra Clank segment, I probably wouldn't have actually said too much or really taken too many hits at this game. But it's just all the added other gameplay, not really styles, but elements that they put into the game, that they put into these levels, bog the game down quite a bit. And that's definitely one of the things I don't like about this game. It just felt like they weren't focused. It felt as if they were doing a Sonic 06, you know, mistake, in which they just tried putting way too many gameplay styles into the game without, not necessarily without fleshing out all of them, but without making the main one fleshed out enough. Again, Ratchet, you play as Ratchet like 60% of the game if you're doing everything. Possibly even less if you're, you know, going through the levels quickly. And that's just another reason why I don't necessarily think this game's the best. Granted, as a PSP game, this game's actually really good. However, I originally came into this game with the PS2 game. With the PS2 version, at least. I actually bought that game almost nearly immediately after it came out. Because I got a gift card after winning a Pi Bee and at school at that point. And if you don't know what a Pi Bee is, you know, just it's kind of like a spelling bee, except instead of having to go and, you know, actually spell out words correctly, you had to recite digits of pi. And I won by landslide. But I didn't really like this game as a PS2 game. It's sort of, it goes back to what I was talking about before about Burnout Legends versus, Burnout, just, Burnout Dominator on the PSP versus the PS2. When I play it on the PSP, all I have to do, all I can really compare it to is Legends instead of 3.
Ratchet.
How do we know this whole place won't explode when you put that on there?
We do not.
See, I told you. Big waste of time. This is so cool. What do you think it is?
It is a Technomite map room. They built these rooms to keep track of the planets they inhabited. This one is Caladon.
Hey, that's where that robot soldier said he was taking the girl.
Exactly. And here are its coordinates. I have never seen these coordinates on any other maps.
Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go get her.
Oh well, but like I said about, Burnout Dominator, if I'm playing on the PSP, all I have to really compare it to is Burnout Legends. However, if I were to play it on the PS2, I would have to compare it to Burnout Revenge, Burnout 3, Burnout 2, and which those games are far better. When I play Burnout Dominator on the PS2, I'm thinking, why am I not playing one of the better games? But Burnout Dominator on the PSP is only marginally inferior to Burnout Legends, so there's really not too much. When I play this game, Ratchet and Clank Size Matters on the PSP, this is all I really have, so it's really good experience. But when I'm playing on the PS2, not to mention the added glitches and all that shit, I could be thinking, why am I not playing Going Commando or Ratchet and Clank or Up Your Arsenal? Those are better games, far better games.
This does not seem right. It has been too easy.
Easy? How's about I ride around on your back while you do all the fighting?
I mean that if the Technomites want to stay hidden, they are making it awfully easy for us to find them.
I did it! I found my real family! I was poking around on the computer when I got a message from some company called FauxFamily.com. It's my entire family tree! I've gotta get to them! Good luck with whatever that was you were doing.
FauxFamily.com? Does that seem odd to you?
Whatever. At least he's out of here. Let's get moving.
Well, Quark's brain dead, and I'm going to see you in the next part. Hopefully.